So we're at the end of the semester. We are going to do chapter 20 as our final bit of material for this week. But before we do that, I want to talk about kind of some of the other moving parts outside of lecture and how the schedule looks for this end. So for this final week, importantly, lecture is still exactly the same. You'll have 2 participations, Tuesday and Friday, midweek, weekly homework. On Wednesday, we'll have a chapter 21 participation follow-up at 11 a.m. So there's no lab, like pre-lab notebook, anything like that for Wednesday. So we'll meet at 11 a.m. in room 230, where we'll do a chapter 21 participation follow-up. So about nuclear chemistry, we'll meet about that this Wednesday. And then from there at 11:20, we'll go to the lab room and do the lab practical. Okay, so that's what we'll do on campus this Wednesday. And then your lab technique presentation, some of you on campus either Monday or Wednesday, whenever you signed up. And then the video, if you're turning it in, that's due Thursday. Next week is the final exam. That's all we have on Wednesday. There's no videos, no nothing next week. Just the final exam, Wednesday at 11 a.m. in room 230. Same room we've done everything else. So the lab practical on Wednesday, again, it's going to be at 11:20, so it'll be after the chapter 21 participation follow-up. It is going to be a set of activities. You'll just kind of work your way around the lab bench at different activities where you are working through different parts of the assignment. Just doing different things, simple little activities that you can work through. Did you participate in the lab, labs throughout the semester? Can you do techniques that we did? Can you analyze collected data? Can you identify glassware? Do you know lab safety techniques or lab safety ideas? So there's, it's not intended to be very difficult. You're not doing a whole lab. You're not designing new labs. It's all stuff we did this semester that you would have seen during one or more labs potentially. There's a folder on the main page of Blackboard with some potential topics as well as safety stuff that I encourage you to take a look at in terms of preparation. Lab technique presentation, just want to remind that it is due on Thursday for turning in a video. You are emailing it to me. If you're doing an in-person presentation, you already picked your time. We're going to meet at then. I sent you an email. I'll send you a follow-up email as we get close to the time. And then next week is going to be the final exam. This is going to be on December 10th, so that's the final Wednesday. You'll have the full 2 hours at 11 a.m., just like we've seen previously. The format is going to look like previous tests. Periodic table, useful information. I would highly recommend it. The useful information is like ballpark 10 pages, right? Because it's basically all of the useful information for all 3 tests plus stuff for like half-lives. In chapter 21, equations are in there. Chapter 20 doesn't have much, but that kind of stuff is on there. There's a lot of useful information. It's just kind of navigating through that kind of glut of information back there. The final exam will be cumulative, so it will cover everything from the class. So chapters 10 through 17, and then 20 and 21. In terms of kind of focusing on material, it's only still a 2-hour test, so it's important to note we, exam 1, 2, and 3, those were 2-hour tests, and those were 2-hour tests, and we, covered material in there. Okay, so this test is going to cover all of the material from those 3 tests, plus everything since then, but it's still only 2 hours. That means it cannot go into the same level of detail that those other tests did. It will have to be more selective. It is only the most important things. It can't just be, whatever, I want or everything, right? It can't be everything from the class. It has to be more focused. It's not a 7-hour test, so it can't have the same level of detail. So instead, it's going to be more focused, only a couple, not only, most important things from each chapter or throughout the class. So, and I give like a guidance of if there was some sort of material that wasn't on one of the tests, that means it wasn't important enough to qualify for like exam 2, right? Something about acids that wasn't on exam 2. If it's not important enough for that, it's not going to be important enough for the final exam. Do you have any questions about the end of the semester organization for things, how things are going to shake out? Please let me know. Otherwise, we need to learn about some organic chemistry. I'll see you in the videos.